everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Dr. Perkins, board certified OBGYN, and today we're talking about should you pee after sex if you're trying to conceive. So in this episode, we will review the anatomy of the bladder, urethra, and vagina because I love the anatomy. It's the core of our understanding when it comes to our female pelvic world. We will also discuss the pathway that sperm travels, the amount of sperm that is produced during ejaculation, how long does sperm last in a female system, and of course, should you pee after sex when you're trying to conceive? So let's first talk about the anatomy. That is the anatomy of your pelvis or your vagina, really, when it comes to urinating and sexual activity. So this is Pearl, and Pearl is an enlarged vulva and vagina. So we have the labia minora, the labia majora, the clitoral hood covering the clitoris, the urethra, that tiny little pink area, which is the tube that allows urine to leave the bladder and be released into the external world. The vagina, this red space here. And then we have the nerves traveling from the clitoris through the upper portion of the vagina, all really important when it comes to orgasms and female pleasure. Now, it's important for us to understand the difference between these systems, primarily because peeing after sexual activity will not disrupt the sperm that is being deposited in the vaginal space. And the reason is the systems are completely separate. This is quite different from males. Males urinate and ejaculate through the same exact space, the urethra. Females have completely separate systems where you urinate from this opening here, a very, very tiny opening, and sperm is deposited in the vagina, a completely different opening, a completely different hole, a completely different space. And so urinating does not directly affect sperm and the ability to conceive after ejaculation. Now, indirectly, what could happen is that you may think of gravity playing a part in this process. So you may be saying, well, Dr. P, that's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that we just had sperm released into the vagina, and if you go to the bathroom, all the sperm will fall out of the vagina. Is that not so? That is not quite the case. And I'll tell you why. First off, sperm are fast. Shortly after being deposited in the vaginal space, within a few minutes, the sperm has already traveled through the cervix, through the uterus, and through the fallopian tubes, and literally can sometimes get to the fallopian tubes in as little as 5 minutes after ejaculation. 5 minutes in total to go the exact entire route and pass through all of your internal organs to get to the fallopian tubes. So really, by the time you get to the bathroom to urinate, sperm are well on their way all the way to the fallopian tube and will probably get there before you even get to the bathroom. In addition to that, it is reassuring to know that in ejaculate, meaning the amount of semen and sperm that's being released into the vagina for conception to try to occur, it is also very reassuring to know that in the average release or ejaculate of semen and sperm, there are millions and millions and millions and millions of sperm that is being deposited in any given moment. In fact, every second of a man's life, he's producing at least 1,500 new sperm. So guess what? If you have sex twice a day, you may easily have 600 million sperm being deposited in your system. That's a ton of sperm. And so because of that, if you do urinate after sexual activity and some of the semen gets released, there are millions of sperm already in your body because they move fast, number one. And two, there's so many of them that by the time you get to the bathroom and anything that's been released from the vagina due to gravity really won't have that much sperm left in it. And so you don't have to worry about potentially losing all the sperm that you may need to conceive because you've gone to the bathroom. And actually, what's more worrisome about not peeing after sexual activity is the fact that you actually may have an increased risk of having infections if you don't go to the bathroom directly after sexual intercourse. What infections am I referring to? Well, most commonly UTIs, urinary tract infections. And I'll show you on Pearl again why that is. Sexual intercourse occurs right here in the vaginal space. Right below here is your anus, or the third hole that a female has down here. Most UTIs are caused by bacteria coming from the anus. It is actually not bacteria coming from the urethra, not bacteria coming from the vagina, but bacteria coming from your rectum, from your GI system. And so how does the bacteria that is really way below this vaginal space move all the way past the vagina to get to this tiny little opening here called the urethra and move directly into your bladder to cause an infection? Well, sexual activity does that. With all the activity and movement in sexual intercourse, bacteria gets moved around and travels up, migrates to that opening. So after sexual intercourse, you have moved bacteria to that space right there, the urethra. If you do not urinate right away, you're giving this bacteria plenty of time to travel all the way up a very short tube and enter into your bladder, causing an infection. So the benefit of urinating directly after sex is that the urine that will be released when you pee will wash this bacteria away, decreasing the likelihood of you getting a UTI. So it's actually beneficial for you to urinate after sexual activity. There are a couple of other infections or conditions that could develop also if you don't urinate directly after sex. One, you may throw your pH balance completely off. Two, that may lead to infections such as a yeast infection or a bacterial vaginosis, all of which we don't necessarily want because infections can sometimes increase the likelihood of a miscarriage happening, or even if pregnancy were to occur, that you may have increased risks of having like a preterm labor, preterm delivery, and other complications as well. Also, be reassured in knowing that sperm can also live inside of your body for up to 5 days. And because of that, even if you had sexual intercourse a few days ago and you ovulate today, sperm may very well be in the area, hanging out, waiting for this egg. Overall, it's very important, and I would highly recommend that you urinate after sexual intercourse, and just be reassured that as long as we have normal sperm and normal motility of the sperm, within a few minutes of sexual activity, sperm are well on their way to the right destination for conception to occur if there is an egg awaiting this process. I'd like to give you a wonderful gift today, a free version of my ebook, Hormones Don't Lie. And if you'd like to get a copy of this just so we can learn more about your body and your system, go ahead and click the link below and I'll be more than happy to send it to you. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for being on our channel. Hopefully you'll return again. And if so, we'll see you then. Take care.